My name's Gary Jones. I'm CEO of MediMusic.
Can you tell me a little bit about MediMusic?
Yeah, sure. MediMusic is a an organization that looks to dispense music for the benefit of pain, anxiety, and cognitive impairment. And we do that by fingerprinting at the moment traditional Western catalog, but we're looking at foreign language catalogs, so Islamic catalogs and Indian catalogs, and so on and so forth. And then dispensing music so that it entrains the heart rate, reduces heart rate, increases heart rate variability, promotes positive endocrine secretions, sorry, such as dopamine, oxytocin, and immunoglobulin A, and most importantly, negates the production of the stress hormone cortisol, which, as we all know, long-term exposure to is bad for us. Period, and can actually result in additional morbidities.
What inspired you to combine music and mental health?
I was working for a company called Omnifone. We were the biggest wholesale distributor of streaming music in Europe. So I ran Sony's Music Unlimited streaming platform across 19 territories for 4 years. And during that time, I met a number of people, and one of whom was Professor Mark Sandler, who's the head of digital music at Queen Mary University London. Mark had invented, or Mark and his team had invented, or the university team had invented things called VAMP plugins, which are basically music information retrieval algorithms. So they extract the digital DNA of a piece of music. And Mark was explaining it to me, and I thought, well, actually, if we can use these to mimic the human brain's response to music, then we may have a solution that where we could use music as a non-invasive digital therapeutic. And that was 10 years ago, nearly 10 years ago. And the background to it is I come from a musical family. I'm a musician myself. I've sold music mainly in the US, and we all self-medicate with music. All the great thinkers of our time, from Confucius, Tolstoy, Plato, Einstein even wrote a book about it. Martin Luther King have all extolled the kind of benefits of music to health. So to me, it seemed that kind of marriage of music information retrieval algorithms, artificial intelligence, digital music, and the changing, shifting landscape in healthcare more towards digital therapeutics and the advances in healthcare, it just seemed like a natural marriage.
How has music helped your own mental health?
I use it all the time. I always have done. I've always played, I always play music. I have a playlist, depends on whether I want to be uplifted or whether I want to remain solemn, not solemn, but keeping a constant mood, or my agitation get my agitation decreased. So I actually use MediMusic myself. It was an idea I had. I scribbled it on the back of a piece of paper, on the back of a scrap piece of paper, and it kind of grew from a kind of recursive script into a full blown Python embedded Python stack with a virtual stack with lots and lots of algorithms running that enable us to also create playlists as well. So that's one of the other important things, because healthcare workers don't have time to kind of sit and work and speak. In the case of dementia, for example, most I was amazed, most people with dementia, or most families who have a relative that has dementia, don't know the musical fabric of their life. So we use a study of papers, reviews, that academic papers and reviews that looked at how we consume music, when we consume it. It's different for male and female. When our tastes change, and social events. So punk music in the 70s in the UK, for example, was a big thing that changed music, and combine it into an algorithm that will auto create playlists, as well as kind of create that heart rate entrainment process as well.
How does it feel for you that you are helping people, with their mental health?
Well, it's beyond. It's just not mental health. It's beyond that. But I guess
Yeah.
mental health, is a broad spectrum. I mean, pain. If you're in constant pain, it affects your mental health, and so on and so forth. Someone asked me a question the other day, and it's something I always wanted to do. It started off as an interest. It's now a passion and a business. It is a commercial business, but at the same time, we're looking to become a B Corp. We're out fundraising at the moment because we want to do more and more trials. We're not just putting out something out there and just saying, "Hey, it works." We actually want to prove it. And I think the kind of the day at which when I know it's gone, or when it's worked, I'll be sitting in a hospital bed probably towards the end of my life, and someone will hand me a MediBeat player, which is and a MediMusic service, and suggest I listen to reduce my pain or whatever. whatever position I'm in at that time, and then by then I'll know. That's the point at which I know it's worked.
What are some of the other ways that MediMusic helps?
Dental anxiety. 36% of dental patients in the UK, and it's pretty similar in the US, are dental phobic. Some of them quite acute. My wife, for example, she has to be knocked out every time she goes to the dentist because of she's got dental anxiety. Dementia, stroke. I mean, it's as broad as it is long, and that's one of the challenges in the sense that we had to focus on very, very specific areas. So at the moment, we're looking at pre and post-op anxiety and pain. We're looking at chronic pain and opiate reduction, and dementia as well. PTSD is another area that we've been approached. We get an awful lot of inbound approaches from people who see what we're doing and see us on LinkedIn and so on, and say, look, we're in this particular vertical within healthcare. Is it something you think you can help us with? And if you look at, there are 25,000 papers on PubMed and Cochrane, highly peer reviewed, a lot of them, that prove that music not only aids mental health on a kind of patient reported outcome, but actually has a very precise physiological response and can make pain medication more performant and reduce pain. So that making pain medication more performant, and benzodiazepines that are associated with depression and anxiety, making them more performant, and therefore reducing costs, is something that also that people have got interested in. And certainly in the case of dementia, whilst anxiety as it presents itself in dementia is a process during what's known as sundowning, which is more towards the end of the day when you go through when the person with dementia goes through personal hygiene and get into bed, and they get very, very anxious. And it's the worst form of anxiety because they can't rationalize it.
Yeah.
And doctors, as a rule, will not prescribe benzodiazepines or any other, I can never say the word, but any other anxiety drug, primarily because it makes the dementia worse. So music seems like a natural fit, and as we say, in some cases, music is the only medicine. But as overall, music is it's a non-invasive. We all self-medicate. We've done it for years and years and years. It's non-invasive. We just happen to be the spoon for all the research and all the the historical stuff that went before, and enabling it, and hopefully people get an advantage from it, not just from a patient reported outcome, but also from a clinical reported outcome and a cost benefit saving. And if it means people are taking less drugs, it's got to be a good thing.
Yeah. What is some of the feedback has been with people doing this?
So I guess, I mean, we're in trial stage. We're in a lot of trials. We have closed user groups, so we're working with the NHS in England. We're talking to Beth Israel Deaconess in Boston about running a trial with them at the moment and looking to move more into the US market. And our kind of driver for all that was a trial we did with a couple of dementia wards at a hospital in Lancashire in England, where we got a 91% success rate and heart rate reduction across the cohort. So 91% of the cohort used MediMusic, and their heart rate reduced. And of that, 61.5% we got back to within their resting heart rate range. So, which is really key because you get back, you're there, and obviously the bad cortisol is not being produced and the good hormones are. And in some instances, that was a heart rate reduction from 25%. Some were only 3, 4, 18, but a lot of them at higher end, and we managed to get it back from a kind of elevated heart rate, which is not good, into the resting heart rate range for that individual.
What are some of the things that motivate you?
Uh, Personally, my family, work wise, just kind of doing what we're doing. I enjoy what we're doing. I'm lucky to be doing a job I enjoy. It's been as I said, it's been a 10-year project for me. There are some things that don't motivate me that I don't like, which is the kind of fundraising side of it and all the pain that goes with that, which is often difficult. And you sit in front of people and you're very passionate about it in front of investors, and they look at the numbers. I've called it kissing frogs. That one day, you kiss enough frogs, you meet your prince, and he writes you a check. But so we're frog kissing at the moment. No offense to any investors watching, but yeah, I mean, again, that's a marriage process. But I like what I'm doing. I like to see smile on people's faces when they listen to music. It's particularly with dementia, when it brings back memories that are important to somebody, but that they've forgotten. And just that one trigger, and also to see people, not in pain and it reducing pain, and the kind of look on their face when they realize how simple it is in its overall construct. I mean, it's very complicated what we're doing behind all the science and maths and everything else behind it, but that kind of whole process of just basically using music, I think it's great to see.
I like the the analogy of kissing frogs. After, that stage, where do you want to see the organization?
We want to, so we want to grow. I mean, we've been we've had a very specific strategy in the UK. So it's to focus on the north of England where we're based, permeate out, prove it. And the analogy I use is pretty much like a rock band or a pop band. If you're playing live, you build a following locally, and then you spread it from there. And that's kind of our approach to it, and it's worked. And now we're looking to move into the US. We're talking to the labels at the moment. We're close to closing our label deals to get all the catalog sorted, finalized. The hardware, we produced a piece of hardware called the MediBeat device. And when I was in Washington recently, I mentioned to you, I was at the Digital Therapeutics Alliance, and what they're doing in the US is great because they're trying to extract that kind of digital therapeutics layer from mainline drug approval process and all that to make it slightly simpler. Um, and I met a number of clinicians there who said, "Great, love the app, love the idea, love what you're doing, but it's about getting the app on my phone. It's about getting the app on a patient's phone. How do we do that?" And that workflow for us has always been key. So we produced our own piece of hardware, which we got a European grant for, called the MediBeat device. It's music, it streams music. It connects into our biofeedback loop as well. So if a patient has a wearable on and that they don't respond, their heart rate doesn't respond in the way that we expect, then we can dynamically swap tracks out to bring the heart rate down faster or slower. And then that whole process goes into a machine learning module with a view to 15 years' time. We're constantly refining, and that we can say we're dispensing music as medicine.
How can people reach out and learn more?
Look at our website, medimusic.co, not .com or .co.uk, just medimusic.co. And yeah, reach out to me directly if you wish.